So this week we are going to be studying the Ayin. And the Ayin, the Ayin has to do with the eyes. It means eye or a fountain. So we're going to study the Ayin because the next letter, and it has to do with eye or fountain. But let's go ahead and start out with prayer. So if you can join me, please. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al divrei Torah. Blessed are you, Lord our God, everlasting King, who sets us apart by his establishments and established us on words of Torah. So, on this page we have at the very top the Ayin. I think it's a really pretty looking letter. And the meaning of Ayin is eye or fountain, like I said. And the relation between the two letters, you know, why eye and why a fountain. Somebody turn your mic off.
Is it a barking?
Yeah.
Okay, it's Penny and it's Rosie. Okay.
So the relation between the two definitions, that being eye and fountain, is the fact that both produce water. Okay, so the way I like to remember that Ayin means, you know, eye and fountain, is that I think of tears, you know, coming out. So it's like a fountain. Okay, so Ayin is that relationship has to do with them producing water. So the shape of the Ayin, if you look at it, it looks like two eyes at the top, and then they're connected to like a central nerve at the bottom. Okay, so I thought of these scriptures of Matthew 6:22. The eye is the lamp of the body. So if your eye is healthy, your whole body, why did it do that? If your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. Then Psalm 119:18. Open my eyes that I may behold wondrous things out of your Torah, out of your law. So the Ayin as a fountain or a spring, or even a well, okay? The word is like a mayan, but the root word is Ayin. So the Proverbs 25:26 says, a righteous man falling down before the wicked is as a troubled fountain and a corrupt spring. And I thought that was amazing because it had the word fountain and it had the word spring, but it's talking about a righteous man that basically falls down or kind of caves in and gives in to the ways of the wicked. And he is considered like a troubled fountain, like bad water coming out. Okay, like a corrupt spring, like something you can't drink from. And I thought that was just an amazing picture because it's a righteous person, but they're giving in to the ways of the wicked. And Isaiah 12:3 says, therefore, with joy shall you draw water out of the wells of salvation. So, you know, think of that also, that Ayin, like these wells of salvation, and you're going to be able to draw from that. You'll be able to take that in, kind of like your eye. When you're seeing stuff, you're taking all of that in, you know, to your eye. You're seeing those things and you're taking it in. So the first time we see the Ayin in the scriptures, in the Torah, is in Genesis 1:2. The words al pnei, which mean on the face of. The first time it says al pnei is on the face of the deep, okay, which is the deep depth subterranean waters. abyss, or grave. So here's God's face. And the very first time that you see it is his face is on the deep. He's looking down into that darkness. And then the second time it says on the face of the water. And, you know, the water are people. So God faced the dark abyss first. And then his face is on the living waters, because those are moving, living waters. The very next chapter, or the very next verse, I should say, God introduces light so that we can distinguish. I mean, think about it. Here's this dark abyss. And I put that picture of this dark abyss. It's dark. And God puts his face to it, and he's looking down into the abyss. And then he's looking into the waters, and God brings light, because there was just darkness over those things, right? But it was God giving us the ability to distinguish, you know, between that darkness and life. What will bring us life? What is a living water? What is good for us? So Ayin is the 16th letter of the alphabet, and it has a gematria of 70. So here are some of the 70s that we see in Judaism. We went through this a few weeks ago, what each of the numbers pertain to. But in Psalm 90, verse 10, it has to do with the span of life. Like if you know, the span of a person's life is 70. If you reach to 80, I mean, that's amazing. But 70 is what it says is the span of life. And it's for a hoary white head. So, I mean, it's a blessing to have the white hair, you know. I know some of us color it, but it's just so beautiful to see, you know, the life, the wisdom, because it is a picture of wisdom. And you see that white hair and the years that person, you know, has gained knowledge. Then there were the 70 nations, which were this, and we got that number from the 70 members of Jacob's family. We also have 70 elders, or the 70 judges that were introduced to us during the time of Moses, because it was very difficult what he was doing, trying to judge everything himself. And we have the 70, it said there were 70 faces of the Torah. Now this I did not know. There's 70 faces of the Torah. The Midrash teaches, because of the multifacetedness of God's Torah, there are 70 valid ways or perspectives to understand the Torah. I never knew that. I never saw that. So I just thought that was really amazing. Then there were 70 years of exile in Babylon. There are 70 different names for God according to the Midrash. This is a really neat one, and I never even thought about this one. The 70 biblical holy days. There are 52 Shabbats. Oh, why is it doing that? There are 52 Shabbats, 7 days of Pesach, 1 day of Shavuot, 1 day of Rosh Hashanah, and 1 day of Yom Kippur, and 8 days of Sukkot. According to Bamidbar Rabbah 1412, basically you add all that up, it's 70. So there are actually 70 holy days in the year. Then the last thing, it says the 70 birth pangs until the coming of Messiah. So we need to study that more. I think that when I told Michael about that, he didn't know about that. So maybe Michael can study that for us for a Shabbat. But I just thought that was really interesting. So 70. 70 represents one who is in total control of his emotional attributes. Somebody that can control their emotions. When an individual has totally refined all of the 70 levels, he's then fit to lead and teach others. The Rebbe once said, first, you must become master over yourself, personal world within. Then you must master your family environment. Only then can you endeavor to be a leader in the world, according to Chabad.org. So I just thought that was really important, because if we strive to lead others, we need to be able to work on ourselves, master our attributes, and master anger or strife or whatever it is that you're dealing with. And you refine those things, you deal with them so that you will be able to hopefully lead your family and teach your family those things, and then you'll be able to lead others in a proper way. So the top picture, you see the man, and he's kind of dealing with himself, and then he's able to be with the middle picture with his family, that he's working with them and trying to do Judaism. And then there's a celebration. It's like, yeah, we can lead others, and rejoice in Judaism. So the shape of the Ayin. What is taught about the Ayin is that the shape is a vav, and it's on the left-hand side of the letter is the vav, and it's standing on, okay? So you have the noon, and then you have the vav, kind of standing there. And the vav, if you remember, it was a 6th teaching, the vav signifies that heaven connecting to man on earth. It's that yashar, that God just like a chute pouring down to earth, his love, his teachings, his ways. Then the noon shows us humility, like a man kneeling down and bowing at the same time, just this total humility. So a person who can humble himself in life will be able to stand upright before God in the kingdom. He'll be able to be that yashar. He'll be able to stand upright. So when we see the ayin, we see both letters. We see the noon and we see the vav. We see the humility and we see that uprightness. In the scriptures, and we've been seeing this with some of the other letters, but that we see that they are occasionally enlarged, or in some occasions they're actually put above, in a higher place than other letters. It's very interesting how the Torah, how it's written. So we see the enlarged ayin, and it's in the verse Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. So hear, O Israel, the Lord thy God, the Lord is one, or alone. So the first word in the Shema is written with the enlarged ayin, and I made it, I highlighted it in yellow for you to see. But it also has an enlarged dalet, okay, which we know is, oh, who's touching their computer? We also see the enlarged dalet, which is the door that we pass through to be able to get to the things God wants to give us. So the ayin and the dalet spell out the word ed, which means witness or congregation. In a congregation, you usually you're witnessing each other's lives. Okay, it's kind of like you're in a circle. And I remember that when we went to Israel, up in Masada, we got to go up, and there was a synagogue at the top. It was so neat. And there was a scribe in there writing. But the setup of the old synagogue that was up there is kind of like in a circular motion where everybody's sitting down and able to see each other. So the first I think, Becca, can you ask Dad? I think it's Dad because he's hosting and he's touching his computer and it's making mine move. Okay, so anyway, so you're in a circle and you can actually see each other. So the first congregation we had, we actually tried to set it up kind of like a semicircle type of thing where everybody would be able, to see each other. And, it's you're witnessing each other's lives because you're trying to help each other, okay, which is the purpose. Judaism is pretty much not something you do alone. You do it with others. You go to the congregation. Don't separate yourself. Be a part of the congregation. Be a part of life. Be a part of the festivals together. So, so we help each other out to walk the derech, or the path that God sets before us as we do Judaism. The word Shema, we know, means hearing. Okay, hear, O Israel. But now that we see the Ayin, we see that in the word Shema, that we have this Ayin, and it's enlarged. So the Ayin means eye. So we learn that hearing and seeing are integrally woven in Judaism. You need to see and hear in order to do. And that is also very important when it comes to faith, because you have to God shows you something so you know how to walk in that path or how to walk in that direction. And it's not, oh, I'm going to believe and walk in this way. No, God shows you something and then you walk. You don't move until that cloud moves. So Rashi said that the heart and the eyes are spies of the body. They lead a person to transgress. The eye sees, the heart covets, and the body follows through and transgresses. So, it all starts out with your eyes, and then your heart gets involved and goes, yeah, I want that. Yeah, I want to do that. But your body is the one that eventually goes, yep, I'm going to act on it. So this is according to Bemidbar 15:39. So basically, we, through the word and maturity, we basically kind of stop that flow, and we could stop it with our eyes of what we're seeing and what we're taking into our eyes. We could stop it with our heart by realizing, okay, I want the Torah in my heart and not, something else. And then you still have another opportunity to tell your body, nope, don't go that route. So I just thought that was really interesting because it says the heart and the eyes are the spies of the body. They lead a person to transgress, to sin. The eye sees, the heart covets, and the body transgresses. So the Talmud in Shabbat 104a teaches that there's a good eye, or an Ayin Tov or Tovah, and that looks to the Samik. When you think of your Aleph Bet, so it's We did Samik, then we're doing Ayin, and then next week we'll do the Pei. So one eye is looking to the Samik because that's the one that's right next to him, while the other eye, the evil eye, is looking to the Pei. Okay, and the evil eye is the Ayin Hara. So Pei means mouth. So we learned that Samik means uphold, support, lean on. You know, you're helping others. Okay, so we have a choice to use our Ayin Tova for good in the world by upholding each other, by supporting each other, by letting your shoulder be there for someone to lean on, and we help others. Or we can have the Ayin Hara, which is for greed or gossip, because that's where the mouth is, okay, the Pei. So it can be for greed, because it's like, what do I want to take in? Or gossip, you know, what am I going to be putting out that's awful to hurt others? And, you know, it can be like that selfishness that we're, you know, what are we taking in? Our selfish desires. So Proverbs 10:11 says, the mouth of the righteous is a well of life, but violence covers the mouth of the wicked. So it's a well or a spring. In some translations, it's a spring of life, because Torah is coming out. The mouth of the righteous is a well, a spring of life, because Torah is coming out. Good things, positive things are coming out. Helpful things are coming out. But violence covers, it just covers the mouth of the wicked. Awful things, you know, are coming out. So the Samik, you know, we have a choice with our eyes. Just remember, one eye is you know, towards the Samik, and we can see people helping out, handing out food, lifting each other up, or we can be, you know, looking towards the Pei, the mouth, you know, where it's gossip or, you know, lust. I put a picture of lust, just, you know, things that aren't, you know, going to edify us, help us grow, or help others. So we have to choose from which fountain we drink our water. The same way that we have to choose what eye we're going to look through, if we're going to look through the Ayin Tova or the Ayin Hara. We decide what water we're going to drink from. Are we going to drink from the pure, you know, unadulterated, clean waters of Torah, or are we going to drink from the muddy waters of a polluted, defiled, and tainted doctrine that isn't the Torah? It's something totally different. So that's how we have the two pictures up at the top. We have the clean, pure water, and in the middle we have the water being poured, you know, like an Ayin. It's just water coming forth. And then we have the muddy water. And daily we have to choose. Is that Torah? You know, is that way of life, does that go along with the Torah? Or is it something that's been tainted by man and come up with their own ideas, their own rituals? It's just like, that's not even in the Torah, you know. And I get it, we don't all know everything about the Torah, but you have that chance to look up those things and study. But at the same time, we have each other that we can help, you know, go to and talk to support us and lead us in the right direction. It's like, no, that's not in the Torah. That's not right. So, you know, it's always a community kind of thing that we have to be together and help each other out. So then the last screen is the eyes of the Lord. Okay. So For the eyes of the Lord, this is Second Chronicles 16:19. For the eyes of the Lord roam throughout the earth, so that he may strongly support those whose heart is completely his. Psalm 34:15. The eyes of the Lord are upon the righteous, and his ears are open to their cry. Proverbs 15:13. The eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. He's seen it all. In Hebrews 4:13, nothing in all creation is hidden from God's sight. Everything is uncovered and exposed before the eyes of him to whom we must give account. So the final message is, a while back we learned about our eyes being like gates. We choose what we're taking in, and we choose what we're taking in, and we also have to realize that we have that choice to support each other, to be in a community, to do Torah, to do the festivals, or we have a choice to look the other way and do things that are contrary to the scriptures. And that's all I have for you. And I hope that this has helped you and giving you some new understanding and some new life in understanding the Ayin